settle for Bateman.
I don't know why I clicked on this. The thumbnail got me, bruh.
You just got $1 trillion. Not a million. Not a billion. A
trilly, chat. What you doing with a trilly, bruh? Chat, what you doing with a trilly? Gambling it all away, based.
trillion. But there's a catch. You need to spend all of it in the next 24 hours.
There ain't no way you can spend a trillion in 24 hours. What?
Or you lose everything.
Actually, no, I could spend a trillion in 24 hours. I think I could spend $1 trillion in literally 10 hours.
This should be easy. First, you need a new car. Go to your local exotic dealership and buy yourself a Lambo. And a Ferrari, and a McLaren. You know what? Just buy up the entire dealership. Now, you have the $12 million garage of your dream.
That's it? Ain't no way all them cars only 12 million. That's a Ford GT over there. I know that thing probably close to $1 million on its own.
But there's one small problem. In order to spend $1 trillion in 24 hours, you would need to buy out that entire dealership every single second. You need to think bigger.
Zillow!
Hire 100 people to track down the 100 most expensive yachts and buy them for us. And let's throw in $1 million bonus for each mercenary. That'll be around a $40 billion check, but let's also buy the biggest cruise ship of all time for $2 billion and fill it up to maximum capacity, paying for everyone's tickets and tossing in a Rolex too. Let's make use of this ship's basketball court by buying up every single NBA team and having them battle it out. Then let's get Snoop Dogg, Katy Perry, Justin Bieber, and Beyonce to perform for us before sending them off to the International Space Station on a SpaceX rocket that costs $55 million per passenger. Now that you're hanging with rich people, you need a status symbol. You could buy the world's most expensive art piece for—
Wait, I couldn't spend $1 trillion in 24 hours. There ain't no way. Cause say even if you bought something never mind, I don't know what I'm talking about. No, there's no way you could spend a trilly. There ain't no way you could spend a trilly.
$500 million, but why would you do that when you could just buy the entire Metropolitan Museum of Art for $100 billion and then we could go over to— Transaction failed.
Think, that's only $100 billion. If you got $1 trillion, bruh, say you got $1 trillion and you buy this thing, which is only $100 billion, you still got $900 billion left over, bro. Only? Yeah, if you got $1 trillion, this is only $100 billion.
There's no way we're already out of money. Yeah, we still have $800 billion.
Yeah, no, GG.
The Metropolitan Museum is an educational institution whose assets are held for the public benefit and are not owned by— You know what? Forget about the Met. The entirety of New York City is worth around $1.3 trillion.
That's it? I'm sorry, I'm playing. No, for real though, that's it? I'm not gonna lie. It seems like the whole entirety of New York would cost more than just $1.3 trillion.
There are currently 33,210 vacant units available, so let's hire 33,000 people to snatch those up for us, and of course throw in a $100K commission. But here's something you need to think about. The most expensive real estate purchase in US history was this $240 million concrete brick. That might sound like a lot of money, but you spending $240 million is like an average person spending $60.
See, exactly, chat.
I think instead of buying houses, you should build a mega project. The sky is truly your limit. You can build your project wherever you want.
That thing was only $2.3 billion?
If there's people in the way, buy them out with your pocket change. Or maybe try the Saudi Arabia method and relocate them into a graveyard. Actually, I think
y'all gotta understand what I'm saying only. Look at what this thing is and the amount of technology and architecture that goes into building something that is nowhere else on the planet. I feel like this would cost more than $2.3 billion. Y'all some simpletons.
One, if there's people in the way, buy them out with your pocket change. Or maybe try the Saudi Arabia method and relocate them into a graveyard. Actually, I think the Middle East is exactly where we need to go. So let's buy one Gulfstream G650.
That's only $78 million.
For each day of the year and fly across the world. Welcome to the Arabian Peninsula, where people will build literally anything. The world's biggest picture frame, the world's largest clock, the massivest cube,
Is that real?
The world's biggest picture frame, the world's largest clock, the
Chad, is that real? No, that ain't real. What am I talking about?
massivest cube, the tallest structure ever, man-made sinking islands shaped after the world map from memory. These are cool. Let's build an even bigger artificial island for 20 billion. Of course, we can't forget about labor cost, so for that, let's budget in $10. Then let's buy every single one of those mega projects I just showed you for a total donation of $101,292,010 to our Middle Eastern boys. But while you're here, take a look at the Burj Khalifa, the current tallest building
That
in the
ain't
world.
no money.
If you were to stack $1 bills to the very top, the tower would be worth $7.58 million. You still need to spend 87,000 times that. A stack so high it would go
chump change, bruh.
past the International Space Station. If you ever want to spend this money, you need to stop thinking in real estate and start thinking in 51st state.
Oh, you'd have to build your own state.
See where I'm going with this? Buy a country. In 2010, the country of Liechtenstein put itself on Airbnb at 70 grand a night.
What?
In 2010, the country of Liechtenstein put itself on Airbnb at 70 grand a night. This is literally nothing. You can't be looking at countries hoeing
Is that still available?
themselves out for pennies. You need the ultimate prize. Somewhere cooler. Somewhere strategic. Let's buy Greenland. Based on the market price of its mineral reserves, the world's biggest island has a price tag of around 200 billion.
Chump change.
We can afford that. But there's one small thing in our way. During Trump's first term, when he proposed the conquest of Greenland, the country dismissed the idea as completely ridiculous and firmly stated that Greenland is not for sale.
You know what I've never understood about Greenland, chat? It ain't green, bro. It's just a bunch of ice action.
Huh. Let's buy an F-35 for $80 million.
Chump change.
Fuck it. 2 F-35s.
Chump change.
3.
Matter of fact, give me 30 of them things. That's still chump change.
And 100. 2 aircraft carriers, 3 destroyer ships, 1 ballistic missile submarine, 57,000 Blackwater soldiers, 1 for every citizen of Greenland. Now we have a $50 billion makeshift military, and it looks like Greenland's for sale after all.
200 billion? I'm about to go buy it right now. Matter of fact, I'm about to buy the whole world, bruh. Chump change. Hey, let me make some calls. I'm about to buy everything up in here. And you know the first thing I'm doing when I buy everything? Everybody that stream snipes me is going to jail.
But by this point in your trillionaire spending spree, people are starting to take notice. Your exploits might not have hit TikTok yet, but rumblings are beginning behind closed governmental doors. Luckily for you, there's not much politicians can say once you own them. Buy a politician. We got Trump here for $1.5 billion, Kamala is almost $2 billion, but you do get a free Joe Biden. Let's buy up both of those and every sitting member of the Senate and House for a grand total of $7.2 billion for the entirety of America.
What? Is this fake? Pocket change, man!
American politics. This is a great deal, but
You
there's
think if you had enough money That you could actually buy the whole earth? What would it take to be able to buy everything? From who? True. Who owns the ocean, bruh? Could you buy the ocean? Why are y'all just typing me? Y'all don't own the ocean, chat.
There's a catch. Money influences politics, but it doesn't always decide it. I mean, look at the presidential race. Democrats outspent Republicans and still lost because $2 billion can't buy aura. More recently, Elon dropped millions of dollars campaigning for an election in Wisconsin, only to find out that shit no longer works when everyone hates you. Even
Wait, how much did Twitter get bought for? $2 billion? Yo, somebody just tapped on my window. Yo! Oh, that's Kitty. Long story short, though, chat, not gonna lie to y'all, I do not think it is possible to spend... You know what's crazy? I don't think it's possible to have $1 trillion because all of everything in the world doesn't amount to $1 trillion, right? The single most expensive thing that you can possibly physically buy would probably be like $500 billion. Nuke's Top 5 posted again. No, they didn't. I checked today, Bubba. What you talking about? Yo, Tannehill's 2-week notice with the 5 gift. Appreciate you. No, you could buy a planet. But again, the thing is, if you buy a planet, who are you buying it from? Okay, the house that you live in. Chat, type 1 if you own the house you live in. Don't even bother typing it because y'all a bunch of losers. Y'all don't own no house. But just say... You own the house you live in, right? Who'd you buy that from? And then Twitter's free on the App Store. Wait, that's true. You can just get it for free. The person who built it. No, I'm talking about the ground that you walk on, right? You know what's crazy? The cavemans back in the day sold. Yo, all the cavemans, y'all sold so bad back in the day. Because y'all was the first person to walk up on a piece of land. You could have literally said... Ooh, 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 dropped a whole bunch of sticks and walked like 30,000 acres and said, this is mine. Imagine you off living in the middle of the woods. You're a caveman. You literally should have claimed a big giant piece of land and it said, this is my little piece of land right here. And then you pass it down forever. If I was a caveman, I would have been cooking. Oh, if I was a caveman, bro, I'd have been the first millionaire caveman, bro. No joke. I'd have been selling land. Another caveman walk up on another piece of land. He'd be like, ooh, 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 ooh. I'd be like, yeah, that's going to run you about 400, that's going to run you about 400 loincloths right there. He'd hand it to me. Boom. Dude, I'm him. Bro, how was they not thinking about that back in the day, bro? Bro failed history class? No. No. Yo, Edna with 10,000 bits. What? I didn't mean any else. You got to buy some of those $110,000 worth of Pokemon cards. Oh no, you could just spend $1 trillion on Pokemon cards.